Now, Durban authorities are on the lookout for explosive devices in the city. The latest people targeted were revelers attending the Vodacom Durban July. On Saturday evening, explosive devices were found before they exploded near the event. Devices had also been found at Woolworths stores previously. For more on the story now, ENCA reporter Dessen Thathia joins us from the coastal city. Dessen, now we'll know whenever we talk to terrorism experts on issues like this, they're very slow to jump to any conclusions, and that's been the advice that we've seen being given out so far. But it's very difficult given just the sheer number of explosive devices that have been found in Durban.
It's extremely difficult, Michelle. In fact, if you just look at that number, that's 5 devices found between Thursday and Saturday, and that is by no means normal at all. Right now, I'm standing on Gladys Mazibuko Road, which is interesting for a number of reasons. The one is that I am almost dead center between the Greyville Racecourse, and that's where the Durban July was taking place. And you'll see just behind me, there's also a Woolworths store not far from where one of those explosive devices was found underneath a parked car. Now, although there is no direct link yet as to whether this explosive device was targeted at that store, one can't help but speculate at this point, considering that the other devices were found at stores in that retail chain, at the Pavilion and Gateway shopping centres. Now, someone who's been following that is Jeff Wicks from Tiso Blackstar. He's a reporter there, and you've been following these the discovery of these devices since Thursday. Tell us about what you saw when you got to the Gateway Mall. I understand that there was quite a bit of panic.
Well, on Thursday, when the first device was found, things were very quiet and the store was quietly evacuated, and they managed to dispense with that device. But once again, we saw it happening on Saturday when a second device was found, and that was found hidden away in store furniture and pillows. That device failed to detonate, and the bomb squad was called in, and they managed to defuse that bomb before the cell phone, which was attached to the PVC piping itself, managed to trigger it. That was taken away, and whilst police are keeping their cards very close to their chest in terms of the device itself, sources are telling us that it was in fact a pipe bomb that was found.
And that's just it. Police are not saying much, and I can understand that, considering that they don't want to cause any panic. In fact, in the interview I did earlier, Thulani Zwane didn't even want to use the word explosive device. But we do know that some of these did go off. They were explosive, in fact, and did cause a little bit of damage.
Yeah, we saw damage at the Woolworths stores, at Pavilion and at Gateway. And now, in what appears to be a second phase of this string of bombings, there was damage recorded to motor vehicles, one which was parked slightly up the road and a second which was parked 2 blocks over. It's difficult from a police perspective for them to tie these bombings together, but logic would dictate when you have 5 devices set in the space of 4 days, your mind immediately takes you to a place where these incidents are linked.
But let's not forget the other device that was found at the Verulam Mosque in May, was it?
I'm tentative to go into bomb making in general, and I assume that these things are rather universal in shape and form. But what we're seeing in terms of the devices that were found, especially the one which was found at Woolworths on Gateway, it bears striking similarities to the same device which was found at the mosque in Ottawa as part of that 3-day attack.
And I think the more worrying thing here, Wicks, is that this is happening in public spaces. I mean, you know, just looking at social media and also being there at the malls at the time, there is a lot of speculation and people are worried about their safety.
Well, I mean, even uttering the word bomb sort of induces fear and panic. And I think that sort of informs the police's stance and their reluctance in saying the word bomb. But what we have found is there is a certain level of organization with these attacks. Organization in that someone had to sit down and physically make these devices and then have the wherewithal to surreptitiously plant them in stores where security is heightened and there are cameras. What is different in these bombings is that in the first 3, we could clearly see that Woolworths was involved in some manner, either a target or in some other way. But now there's a bit of a difference where we have bombs planted on parked cars in very close proximity to the Durban July, but also with a certain proximity to Woolworths itself.
It also brings into question then how easy it is to get into somewhere which many people consider safe, a mall, with a device like that. So now police are saying that they will be increasing security, but really to what extent will they be able to do that in somewhere like a mall?
In terms of security measures, Woolworths have come out and they've said we have heightened our security measures, but we're not going to say exactly what we're doing because we don't want to tip off these people. They've come out and said there's clearly an issue in KwaZulu-Natal. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go forward with this.
Thanks, Wicks. Michelle, that was Jeff Wicks from TISO Black Star. So he's been following this story quite closely. And even now we are keeping a close eye on that police investigation that we've been told about. It will be handled by the Hawks, but at this point, no arrests and police not making any links between all of these attacks that we're seeing. But at the same time, lots of panic and lots of worry from people visiting these very public spaces.